Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः Saturday morning in America. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. Let us recite Bhagavad Gita Shloka. We are reciting from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 13, text 21. Isha.
कार्यकारणकर्तृत्वे हेतुः प्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषः सुखदुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world.
Krishna Shish.
Please start here.
Madhava.
Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world.
Rasapriya.
हेतु प्रकृति रचिते Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects.
You have to speak loudly, it's not audible.
Whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world.
Okay. Bhagavad Gita chapter 13 text 21. Karya Karana Kartritve Prakritir प्रकृति हेतु रुच्यते हेतु प्रकृति रुच्यते कार्य कारण कर्तृत्वे हेतु प्रकृति रुच्यते पुरुषः सुख दुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतु रुच्यते. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Okay, so let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 21, the dynasty of Bharat Maharaj, King Bharat. So in that, we read about the descendants of Bharat Maharaj. So first of all, there is Bharat Maharaj and his son is Bharadwaj. Bharadwaj had a son called Manu. Manu had 5 sons. Of the 5, we read about 4. So Nara, one son is Nara. Nara's son is Sankriti. And Sankriti had 2 sons, Guru and Rantidev. So we had read about Rantidev. Then the next son of Manu is Gargi. Gargi's son is Shini. And then Shini's son is Gargya. And Gargya's sons all became Brahmanas. Then another son of Manu is Mahavirya. And Mahavirya had 3 sons, and all of them became Brahmanas. Then Brihat Kshatriya is the 4th son of Manu, and Brihat Kshatriya had 3 sons, Ajameda, Devameda, and Kurumeda. And Ajameda's sons, all sons of Ajameda, headed by Priyameda, they are all Brahmanas. Like this we read. And also, so Brihat Kshatra's son is Hasti. Hasti is the one who established the city called Hastinapur. And Hasti had 3 sons, Ajameda, Devameda, and Purumeda. Okay. So, and then Ajameda's sons, headed by Priyameda, they all became Brahmanas. Like this we read yesterday. So now we'll continue reading. So from Ajameda, text 22 says, from Ajameda came a son. sorry, it's not Devameda, it's Dvimeda. Ajameda, Dvimeda, and Purumeda. And the descendants of Ajameda, headed by Priyameda, all achieved the position of Brahmanas. Okay. So now, from Ajameda came a son named Brihadishu. From Brihadishu came a son named Brihadhanu. From Brihadhanu, Brihatkaya, and from Brihatkaya, Jayadratha. The son of Jayadratha was Vishada, and his son was Senajit. The sons of Senajit were Ruchirashva, Dridahanu, Kashya, and Vatsa. The son of Ruchirashva was Para, and the sons of Para were Ritusena and Nipa. So we came up to Nipa. Now Nipa's wife is the daughter of Shuka. Okay, and Nipa had 100 sons. His wife's name is Kritvi, who is the daughter of Sukadev. So then we read about Sukadev, how Sukadev, this is not Sukadev Goswami, the original Sukadev Goswami, because the original Sukadev Goswami was a lifelong brahmachari. He never married, so there's no question of having children. But he created what was the word used? An imitation Sukadev. He created an imitation Sukadev who went back to his father. He got married and then he became a householder. So that Sukadev's daughter is Kritvi, and she was married to King Nipa, who is a descendant coming from Ajameda. Okay? And they had a son called Brahmadatta. So actually he had 100 sons. King Nipa had 100 sons. But we are talking about the son Brahmadatta. And Brahmadatta was a great yogi, and he begot a son named Vishwaksena. His wife was Saraswati. So now we'll continue with the next verse, text 26. So Isha, you can read. Jaigishavyopадeshena yogatantram chakaraha udaksenastatastasmad bhallato barhadishavaha.
Following the instructions of the great sage Jaigishavya, Vishwaksena compiled an elaborate description of the mystic yoga system. From Vishwaksena, Udakshena was born, and from Udakshena, Bhallata. All these sons are known as descendants of Brihadishu.
Okay. So yeah, we are reading about the descendants of Ajameda. Yes. And we read that all of Ajameda's sons became Brahmanas. So then we came to Nipa, right? And then after Nipa, we came up to Vishwaksena. So about this Vishwaksena, it is said, this Vishwaksena followed the instructions of the great sage Jaigishavya. And following the instructions of the sage Jaigishavya, Vishwaksena compiled an elaborate description of the mystic yoga system. Okay, Vishwaksena compiled an elaborate description of the mystic yoga system. From Vishwaksena, Udaksena was born. From Udaksena, Bhallata. All these sons are known as the descendants of Brihadishu. So they're all Brahmanas, right? Next 27 is Krishna Shish there.
No.
Yavinaro kritimam statsutah smritah namna satyadhritistasya dridhanemi suparshvakrit. Madhava.
The son of Yavinara was Yavinara, whose son was Kutiman. The son of Kutiman was well known as Satyadriti. From Satyadriti came a son named Dridhana. Devi, who became the father of Suparshva.
Suparshva. Suparshva. Okay. So now we read about the descendants of Ajamida and we came up to Vishwaksena and then Vishwaksena's descendants also, Udaksena, like that. Now the next son of Hasti is Dvimida. He had three sons, right? Ajamida, Dvimida, and Purumida. So we read about Ajamida's descendants. Now we are reading about Dvimida's descendants. So the son of Dvimida was Yavinara, whose son was Kritiman. The son of Kritiman was Satyadhriti, and the son of Satyadhriti is Dridanemi, and the son of Dridanemi is Suparshva, like this. Next, 28 and 29, Rasapriya. Suparshvat Sumatistasya putrah sannati mamstatah kriti hiranyanaಭಾದ್ಯೋ yogam prapya jagau smashat संहिताः प्राच्यसाम्नां वै नीपो युद्ग्रायुधस्ततः तस्य क्षेम्यः सुवीरोऽथ सुवीरस्य रिपुञ्जयः सन्नतिमान् सन्नति प्राच्यसाम् उद्ग्रायुध रिपुञ्जय. Can you close that door? From Suparshva came a son named Sumati. From Sumati, Sannatiman. From Sannatiman, Kriti. No, you'll have to close. And Kriti achieved mystic power from Brahma. So we are talking about the descendants of Dvimida. Okay. So Kriti achieved mystic power from Brahma and taught 6 samhitas of the Prachya Sama verses of the Samaveda. So he actually learned, he achieved some power, mystic power from Lord Brahma himself, and then he taught, the Samhitas, 6 samhitas from Samaveda, right? Prachya Sama verses of Samaveda. So remember that they're all Brahmanas now. And the son of Kriti was Nipa, son of Nipa Udgrayudha, son of Udgrayudha Kshemya, son of Kshemya Suvira, son of Suvira Ripunjaya. So still, they're all the descendants of Dvimida. Next verse. Tato Bahuratho Nama Urumidho Brajo Bhavat Nalinyam Ajamedasya Nilah Shantistu Tatsutaha. Isha.
From Rapunjaya came a son named Bahurata. Purumedha was sunless. Ajamedha had a son named Nila by his wife known as Nalini, and the son of Nila was Shanti.
Okay. So we already read about Ajamida's descendants. Yes. Uh, Ajamida had many sons. The eldest was Priyameda. Yes. And also we read about, let me just go back. So here we are talking about another son of Ajamida called Nila from his wife known as Nalini. And the son of Nila was Shanti. What about Purumida? Purumida had no sons. Purumida had no sons. Okay. Ajamida is Brihadishu. Okay. So he had many sons. See, the previous verse says the descendants of Ajamida, headed by Priyameda, achieved the position of Brahmanas. So the sons of the descendants coming from Priyameda, they are Brahmanas. Ajamida's son, so one son is Brihadishu, and we came down that line, and we came all the way up to Udaksena and Bhallata. Okay, they are all coming down from Brihadishu, who is the son of Ajamida. But now we are reading about another son of Ajamida called Neela. Neela was born from Ajamida's wife Nalini. Neela's son was Shanti. Okay. And of course, we read the descendants of Dvimida up to Ripunjaya, and Ripunjaya had a son called Bahurata, like that. But Purumida had no sons, he was sonless. The next verse, Madhava. Shante Sushantistatputraha Purujorkastato Bhavat Bharmyashvastanayastasya Panchasanmudgaladayah Yavinaro Brihadvishvaha Kampillah Sanjayah Sutah Bharmyashvah Praha Putra me Panchanam Rakshanayahi Vishayanam Alam ime iti Panchala Sangitaha Udgalad Brahma Nivrittam Gotram Maudgalya Sangitam. Madhava.
Next Santi was the Santi. The son of the Santi was Puja. And the son of Puja was Arka. From Arka came Varmyasva. And from Varmyasva came five sons. Budgala, Yavinara, Brihadvisa, Kumbhala, and Sandhya. Varmyasva prayed to his sons. O my sons, please take charge of your five states. We are quite competent to do so. Mrs. Hyacinth were known as the Panchalas. The Mukhokinaya dynasty of Pandavas were known as Mount Gauriya.
Okay, so now we are reading the descendants of Ajamida from Shanti. Shanti's son is Sushanti. Shanti's son is Sushanti. Sushanti's son is Puruja. Puruja's son is Arka. Arka's son is Bharmyashva. Bharmyashva had five sons: Mudgala, Yavinara, Brihadvishwa, Kampilla, and Sanjaya. Bharmyashva prayed to his sons, so he had five sons, and he prayed to his five sons, O my sons, please take charge of my five states, for you are quite competent to do so. Thus his five sons were known as the Panchalas. Whose five sons? Bharmyashva's five sons are known as Panchalas. Who are the five sons? Mudgala, Yavinara, Brihadvishwa, Kampilla, and Sanjaya. So from Mudgala came a dynasty of Brahmanas known as Maudgalya. Maudgalya. So the five sons of Bharmyashva are called Panchalas. Okay, 34. Asapriya. Mithunam Mudgalad Bharmyad Divo Dasah Pumanabhut Ahalya Kanyaka Yasyam Shatanandastu Gautamat.
Mudgala, the son of Paramyasva, had twin children, one male and the other female. The male child was named
Devodasa.
Devodasa, and the female child was named Ahalya. From the womb of Ahalya, by the semen of her husband, Gautama, came a son named
Shatananda. Yes, they're all Brahmanas. Mudgala. So these are the 5 sons of Bharmyashva. So the one son, Mudgala. Mudgala, from Mudgala came a dynasty called Maudgalya. Okay. So Mudgala had twin children, one boy and one girl. The girl is Ahalya. Okay. Mudgala had a boy and a girl, twin children. The girl is Ahalya and the boy is Divodasa. Ahalya's husband is Gautama and her son is Shatananda. We read about Shatananda in Ramayana. Shatananda is with Valmiki Muni. Text 35. Tasya satyadhritiः पुत्रो धनुर्वेदा विशारदः शरद्वांस्तत्सुतो यस्मात् उर्वशी दर्शनात् किला शरस्तम्भे पतद्रेतो मिथुनं तद् अभूच्छुभम्. Isha.
The son of Shatananda was Satyadhriti, who was expert in archery, and the son of Satyadhriti was Sharadvan. When Sharadvan met Urvashi, he discharged semen, which fell on a clump of shara grass. From this semen were born 2 all-auspicious babies, one male and the other female.
Yes. So, we saw that Udgala had twin children, right? Okay. And from that we saw Shatananda was born. So, of the twin children, the girl is Ahalya, Ahalya's son is Shatananda. Now, Shatananda had a son called Satyadhriti. Okay, Satyadhriti. Shatananda had a son called Satyadhriti. Satyadhriti was expert in archery. So now, so far, it started off as Kshatriyas, and down the line they became Brahmanas, and then one of the sons is expert in archery now. Okay, Satyadhriti was expert in archery, and the son of Satyadhriti was Sharadvan. When Sharadvan met Urvashi, he discharged semen. So just try to remember, Ahalya's son is Shatananda. Shatananda's son is Satyadhriti. Satyadhriti was expert in archery. Satyadhriti's son is Sharadvan. Sharadvan met Urvashi and discharged semen. And the semen fell on a clump of shara grass, and 2 all auspicious babies were born from that semen. One male and one female. So this is another set of twins. One set of twins was born from Ahalya and Gautama Muni. So this is again in the same dynasty we are seeing twins, male and female, are born from the semen discharged by Sharadvan. Okay. So what are the names of these 2 babies? तद्दृष्ट्वा कृपया गृह्णाच शान्तनुर्मृगयां चरन् कृपः कुमारः कन्या च द्रोणपत्न्यभवत् कृपी. Yeah. So Krishna Shish.
While Maharaj Shantanu was on a hunting excursion, he saw the male and female children lying in the forest, and out of compassion he took them home. Consequently, the male child was known as Kripa, and the female child was named Kripi. Kripi later became the wife of Vinayacharya.
Purport.
The Arcanabhakti purports of the ninth canto, the 21st chapter of the Arcanabhakti, entitled The Dynasty of Bharat.
So did you see this? We went through various yugas here, right? Bharat Maharaj was from a different yuga, and then we were reading about Shatananda, right? Ahalya was at the time of Lord Ramchandra. So her son Shatananda we read about him in Valmiki Ramayana. He's with Valmiki Muni, Shatananda. Then we read about Satyadhriti and his son Sharadvan. Sharadwan's children are Kripa and Kripi. Kripacharya and Kripi. Kripi is the wife of Dronacharya. Kripi is married to Dronacharya. And Kripacharya is the teacher, the priest of the Kurus. So this is now Dwapar Yuga. So this is the dynasty of Bharat Maharaj. What happened to these two male and female children? While Maharaj Shantanu was on a hunting excursion, he saw the male and female children lying in the forest. And so who were these children? They were the children of Sharadwan, twins. So Maharaj Shantanu was in the forest hunting and he saw these two babies, and out of compassion he took them home, and the male child was called Kripa and the female child was called Kripi. And Kripi became the wife of Dronacharya. So with that we come to the end of chapter 21, the dynasty of Bharat. Now we'll go to chapter 22, the descendants of Ajamida. If you remember, Ajamida, Dvimida and Purumida are the sons of Hasti. Hasti is the king who established the city Hastinapur. Of course, this was way before, in a previous yuga, this Hastinapur city was established, long before. Long before Dhritarashtra Maharaj or Shantanu Maharaj, it was there. So, Hasti had three sons, Ajamida, Dvimida, Purumida. Ajamida's descendants became Brahmanas. So, we read one line coming from Brihadishu, right? We read that line. And also we saw a line of Neela, his son Neela, then Shanti, Sushanti, like that. Two lines we saw already. Lines means lineage. Now we'll read further, the descendants of Ajamida. This chapter describes the descendants of Divodasa. You remember Divodasa? Ahalya and Divodasa were the twin children born of who's the father? Ahalya and Divodasa were the twin children born of, remember? I'll go back. Mudgala. So Bharmyashva had 5 children, 5 sons. One of them is Mudgala, and Mudgala had twin children. One is Ahalya and the male child is Divodasa. So now we are going to read about the descendants of Divodasa. That means this chapter 22 is going to continue. We are going to continue with whatever we started off reading about the descendants of Ajamida. We are going to continue. It's not like we are starting a new one. This chapter describes the descendants of Divodasa. It also describes Jarasandha, who belonged to the Riksha dynasty, as well as Duryodhan, Arjun, and others. So all this is coming in which line? Moon dynasty, Chandravamsa. The son of Divodasa was Mitrayu, who had 4 sons, one after another: Chavana, Sudasa, Sahadeva, and Somaka. Somaka had 100 sons, of whom the youngest was Prishata, from whom Drupada was born. Drupada's daughter was Draupadi, and his sons were headed by Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna's son was Drishtaketu. Okay, so we read in Bhagavad Gita, Drishtaketuschekitanaha Kashi Rajyascha Viryavan Gurujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaivyascha Narapungavaha. So who is Drishtaketu? Drishtadyumna's son. Another son of Ajamida was named Riksha. So we were reading about Brihadishu, right? The sons of Ajamida coming down from Brihadishu. And also we read about Nila. Now we are reading about another son of Ajamida. Another son of Ajamida was named Riksha. From Riksha came a son named Samvarana. And from Samvarana came Kuru, the king of Kurukshetra. Kuru had 4 sons, Parikshi, Sudhanu, Jahnu and Nishada. Among the descendants in the dynasty from Sudhanu were Suhotra, Chavana, Kriti and Uparichara Vasu. The sons of Uparichara Vasu, including Brihadratha, Kushamba, Matsya, Pratyagra and Chedipa, became kings of the Chedi state. In the dynasty from Brihadratha came Kushagra, Rishabha, Satyahita, Pushpavan and Jahu. And from Brihadratha, through the womb of another wife, came Jarasandha, same Jarasandha of Magadha, who was followed by Sahadev. So Jarasandha's son is Sahadev, Somapi and Shrutashrava. Parikshi, the son of Kuru, had no sons. Among the descendants of Jahnu were Suratha, Viduratha, Sarvabhauma, Jayasena, Radhika, Ayutayu, Akrodhana, Devatithi, Riksha, Dilipa and Pratipa. The sons of Pratipa were Devapi, Shantanu and Bahlika. When Devapi retired to the forest, his younger brother Shantanu became the king. Although Shantanu, being younger, was not eligible to occupy the throne, he disregarded his elder brother. Consequently, there was no rainfall for 12 years. Following the advice of the Brahmanas, Shantanu was ready to return the kingdom to Devapi, but by the intrigue of Shantanu's minister, Devapi became unfit to be king. Therefore, Shantanu resumed charge of the kingdom and rain fell properly during his regime. By mystic power, Devapi still lives in the village known as Kalapagram. Interesting. Who's Devapi? The brother of Shantanu Maharaj. By mystic power, Devapi still lives in the village known as Kalapagram. In this Kali Yuga, when the descendants of Soma, known as the Chandravamsa, the lunar dynasty, die out, Devapi, at the beginning of Satyayuga, will re-establish the dynasty of the moon. The wife of Shantanu, named Ganga, gave birth to Bhishma, one of the 12 authorities. 2 sons named Chitrangada and Vichitravirya were also born from the womb of Satyavati by the semen of Shantanu. And Vyasdev was born from Satyavati by the semen of Parashara. Vyasdev instructed the history of the Bhagavatam to his son Sukadev. Through the womb of the 2 wives and the maidservant of Vichitravirya, Vyasdev begot Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura. All this is still the summary of this chapter. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons headed by Duryodhan and 1 daughter named Dushala. Pandu had 5 sons headed by Yudhishthir, and each of these 5 sons had 1 son from Draupadi. The names of these sons of Draupadi were Prativindya, Shrutasena, Shrutakirti, Shatanika and Shrutakarma. So these are the 5 sons of the Pandavas from Draupadi. Besides these 5 sons, by other wives, the Pandavas had many other sons, such as Devaka, Ghatotkacha, Sarvagata, Suhotra, Naramitra, Iravan, Babruvahana, and Abhimanyu. From Abhimanyu, Maharaj Parikshit was born, and Maharaj Parikshit had 4 sons, Janmejaya, Shrutasena, Bhimasena, and Ugrasena. Next, Sukadev Goswami described the future sons of the Pandu family. So, Sukadev Goswami is talking to Parikshit Maharaj. So he talked up to Parikshit Maharaj's 4 sons. Now he's going to tell about the next generation who are not yet born. Next, Sukadeva Goswami described the future sons of the Pandu family. From Janmejaya, he said, would come a son named Shatanika, and following in the dynasty would be Sahasranika, Ashwamedhaja, Asim Krishna, Nemi Chakra, Chitraratha, Shuchiratha, Rishtiman, Sushena, Sunitha, Nrichakshu, Sukhinala, Pariplava, Sunaya, Medhavi, Nipanjaya, Durva, Timi, Brihadratha, Sudasa, Shatanika, several Shatanikas are there, Durdamana, Mahinara, Dandapani, Nimi, and Kshemaka. Sukadeva Goswami then predicted the kings of the Magadha Vamsa or Magadha dynasty, because parallelly there are lines, lineages. So this is coming down from Shantanu Maharaj, this line, right? But Sukadeva Goswami is now going to predict the kings of the Magadha Vamsa, also coming in the Moon dynasty, right? Magadha dynasty. So Jarasanda's son is Sahadev. Sahadev, the son of Jarasandha, would beget Marjari, and from him would come Shrutashrava. Subsequently taking birth in the dynasty will be Yutayu, Niramitra, Sunakshatra, Brihadsena, Karmajit, Sutanjaya, Vipra, Shuchi, Kshema, Suvrata, Dharmasutra, Sama, Yumatsena, Sumati, Subala, Sunitha, Satyajit, Vishwajit, and Ripunjaya. So we are simply going to read a lot of names in this chapter. Okay, so text 1. We'll just start this chapter and then we'll go to Bhagavad Gita. So text 1. Who read the last one? Krishna Ashish, right? So Madhava. Sri Shuka Uvacha Mitrayuscha Divodasac Chavanastatsuto Nripa Sudasah Sahadevotha Somako Jantu Janmakrit.
Okay, it's a
Divodasa.
Devodasa is literally and from intelligent persons. Then Java, Sudasa, Sadeva, and Sonata. Sonata was the father of the
Yes. So we are continuing, just a reminder, we are continuing with the dynasty of Bharat Maharaj. Yes. And in that, so we came up to Hasti, King Hasti, and he had 3 sons, Ajamida, Dvimida, and Purumida. And we already read 2 lineages coming from Ajamida, one from Brihadishu and the other from Nila. So, but we didn't complete it yet. The one that we were reading, the descendants, Ajamida's son Nila. So in that line, we saw that one king, what was his name? Brahmashrava. One second. That's true. Brahmyashva, sorry. Brahmyashva. Okay. So Shanti, Sushanti, Puruja, Arka, and Brahmyashva. So this is the line from Ajamida's son Nila. And in that line is Brahmyashva. So this sorry, Bharmyashva, not Brahmeshwar. Bharmyashva. So Bharmyashva had 5 sons: Udgala, Yavinara, Brihadvishwa, Kampilla, and Sanjaya. So we were reading about Mudgala. Okay. So Brahmyashva had 5 sons. We are reading about Mudgala. Mudgala had twin children, Divodasa and Ahalya. So we read about Ahalya and the descendants coming from there. Now we are going to read about Divodasa in chapter 22. Okay. We are going to read about Divodasa, his descendants. So Divodasa is the son of Mudgala. Sri Shuka Uvacha Mitrayuscha Divodasach Shyavanastatsuto Nripa Sudasa Sahadevota Somako Jantu Janmakrit. Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, did you read this already? You read, right? Madhava? Did Madhava read this verse, the translation?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Divadasa's son was Mitrayu. Mitrayu had 4 sons, Chavana, Sudasa, Sahadeva, and Somaka. So, one son, Somaka, had a son called Jantu. Okay? Rasapriya. Tasya putrasya tam tesham yaviyan Prishatah sutah satasmad drupado jagye sarvasampat samanvitah.
Somaka had 100 sons, of whom the youngest was Prisata. From Prisata was born King Drupada, who was opulent and also for the sea.
So now we are in the Mahabharata. We are talking about Drupad Maharaj. So Drupada is the son of Prishata. Okay, Drupada is the son of Prishata. Prishata is the youngest of the 100 sons of Somaka. Youngest of the 100 sons of Somaka. Who is Somaka? Somaka is one of the 4 sons of Devapi, right? Sorry, Mitra, Divodasa, not Devapi. Divodasa's son is Mitrayu, and Mitrayu had 4 sons. The last one is Somaka. This Somaka had 100 sons, and of the 100 sons, the youngest is Prishata, and Prishata's son is Drupada. If you are interested in the connection, okay. And about Drupada, it is said he was opulent in all supremacy. Drupada. Next, Nilambari Mataji. Drupada Draupadi Tasya Drishtadhyumnadayah Sutaha Drishtadhyumna Drishtaketur Bharmya Panchalaka Ime.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada. From Maharaj Drupad, Draupadi was born. Maharaj Drupad also had many sons, headed by Drishtadumna, headed by Drishtadumna. From Drishtadumna came a son named Drishtaketu. All these personalities are known as descendants of Bharmyashva, or as the dynasty of Panchala.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. So Panchala, we know, like Panchala dynasty. Panchala is the kingdom of Drupad Maharaj. We read in Mahabharata. And that's why Draupadi is called Panchali, because she is the princess of Panchala. Like that. So from Maharaj Drupad, so we are reading So we saw how Drupada is connected to the Moon dynasty, right? So he's coming down from Ajamida, that line. So, and Drupad Maharaj's son, Drupad Maharaj's daughter is Draupadi. Now we'll read about Draupadi's descendants also, but his daughter is Draupadi and his son is Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna's son is Drishtaketu. All these personalities are known as descendants of Bharmyashva or as the dynasty of Panchala. If you remember, Bharmyashva had 5 sons. One of them is Mudgala. Totally, he had 5 sons, and he requested his 5 sons to take charge of the 5 states. So they are called Panchala, like that. So Bharmyashva. This was in a previous yuga, like Treta Yuga passed, and now Dwapar Yuga also is towards the end, right? When the battle of Kurukshetra happened, that was towards the end of Dwapar Yuga. Kali Yuga is also starting. So this is the dynasty of Bharat Maharaj going through various yugas, and they have, the unbroken chain. They have all the names recorded. This is Shastra. So, yeah. So all these personalities coming down from Drupad Maharaj, or even before also, all these personalities are known as descendants of Bharmyashva or as the dynasty of Panchala. So we can stop Srimad Bhagavatam reading here. We will continue tomorrow. And now we will read Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1. It's the last verse of chapter 1. We are going to finish today. Text 46. Please repeat. Sanjaya Uvacha Evam Uktvarjuna Sankhye Rathopastha Upavishat Visrijya Sasharam Chapam Shoka Samvigna Manasaha. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So what was Arjun's final statement after giving so many reasons how, this battle is not auspicious, they shouldn't fight. And finally he said it will bring sin. And after all that he said, it is so, how strange it is that simply for my enjoyment of royal pleasures, I'm willing to commit such sinful activities by fighting like that. So this is Arjun's, state of mind. This is what he's thinking. This is not correct. Fighting is not right. That's what he's saying, right? He's saying it's not right to fight. And finally, after saying this, he put away his bow and arrows, and he, the conches were already blown. We read that in this chapter. So they're ready to shoot the weapon, their arrows, and fight. The conches were blown already, and Arjun throws aside his arrows and bow, and sits down. Warriors don't sit down on chariot to fight; they stand up and fight. But Arjun sat down on the chariot, not wanting to fight, and his mind was overwhelmed with grief. Purport. While observing the situation of his enemy, Arjun stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports, the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So now is the stage is set for Bhagavad Gita to be spoken by Lord Krishna. What is the situation? Arjun is in lamentation and he is in illusion. Shoka and Moha. Arjun's Shoka and Moha. He is lamenting and he is in illusion. So to break this, now Krishna will speak Bhagavad Gita. So that will start with the second chapter. Of course, Arjun will still make some attempts to put forward his arguments, but very soon he sees that there's no point in arguing now. So that we will see. And then Krishna begins to speak Bhagavad Gita. So the first chapter ends with Arjun casting aside his weapons and just, he just sits down on the chariot, not wanting to fight. And Srila Prabhupada is commenting in the purport, he's so soft-hearted, right? He's not considering all the bad things that the other party had done. His heart is filled with compassion, right? This is the heart of a Vaishnava, right? Of course, but now he's playing the role of one in illusion also. But his soft-heartedness, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out. So such a person deserves to receive direct instructions from Krishna. Like that. So with that we come to the end of chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, and tomorrow we can start chapter 2. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The second chapter is contents of the Gita summarized. A very important chapter with many memorization verses which we memorized in the past. We can see how much we remember. Okay. Now we'll read Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. Continuation. So we read that, yes, so this, we were reading yesterday how Mukunda Maharaj is Michael Grant, right? In short, he's called Michael Grant. So he was a musician, and he had come, to take up his profession as a musician in New York. Actually, he's from Portland, but after coming here, he saw very soon he became, he found that the commercial demands, right, they were pretty unappealing to him. So then he simply started working with the local groups, right? He became a musical arranger, right? So he was living in the Bowery, and he had this interest in spirituality. So he met with different swamis, and he also met with Srila Prabhupada. And then yesterday we saw, although external dressing may have seemed similar, it was not new, but still there was something very distinct about Srila Prabhupada. One thing that sticks in my mind is all the other swamis that he had met, they were in opulence, in wealth, and the people who went to see them, they were also older people and wealthy people, right? Smoking cigars, etc. But in contrast, Michael Grant, or Mukund Maharaj, now Mukund Maharaj, he saw that Srila Prabhupada, he was surrounded by poverty, right? And he felt that unless he had something more valuable to give than the others, why would he be living in such poverty? You understand? Because if you make compromises, if you sold what people want to buy, then you can be in opulence, in wealth like the other swamis. But he was in abject poverty. He was living in the Bowery. So this really, intrigued uh, Michael Grant. And also he noticed that although he was surrounded by poverty, Srila Prabhupada, he was a very refined gentleman. He was a very cultured and also a scholar. He could right away tell that he was a distinguished scholar, but still he's living in poverty. What is the reason? So like this, Michael Grant became attracted towards Srila Prabhupada. He started coming. Now, Srila Prabhupada's lecture. Prabhupada is lecturing. Sri Krishna is just trying to place Arjun on the platform of working in pure consciousness, right? Working in pure consciousness. We have already discussed so this is Srila Prabhupada's lecture. We have already discussed for so many days that we are not this dull body, but we are consciousness. Somehow or other we are in contact with matter. Therefore our freedom is checked. That was part of Srila Prabhupada's lecture. Attendance is better now than it had been uptown. The loft offers a larger space. In fact, the platform where Prabhupada sits nearly equals the area of his entire office cubicle on 72nd Street. Right? So that means he had a lot of space here. So he could accommodate a lot more guests also. The loft offers a larger space. In fact, the platform where Prabhupada sits nearly equals the area of his entire office cubicle, the whole apartment that he had, right, on 72nd Street. The dingy loft with its unpainted rafters is more like an old warehouse than a temple. The members of his audience, most of them musicians, have come to meditate on the mystical sounds of the Swami's Kirtan. Carl, Carol, Gunther, Mike, David, the crowd from the Paradox, and others join him on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night when he holds classes beginning punctually at 8 o'clock. The program consists of half an hour of chanting Hare Krishna, followed by a lecture from Bhagavad Gita, usually 45 minutes long, then a question and answer period, and finally another half hour of chanting, everything ending by 10 o'clock. The kirtan has just ended and Swamiji is speaking. Okay, so that was their schedule. So is this in the night or in the, yeah, it says night. So the program starts at 8 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 o'clock in the night. And it went up to 10 o'clock, 8 to 10, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, very punctual, right on time. So the kirtan has just ended and Swamiji is speaking. As spiritual beings, we are free to act, free to have anything, pure, no contamination, no disease, no birth, no death, no old age. And besides that, we have got many, many other qualifications in our spiritual life. So like this, Srila Prabhupada is lecturing. We will continue reading tomorrow. Today is Saturday morning. Still you join. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness.